Yeah, I don't know what's taking the view so long to get here. He's never late for an interview. He might have to leave early or something, but he never just like straight up miss an interview. Bro, really tripping this time. I don't know what's going on with him, man.
My bad, bro. Ain't my fault this time. I promise.
Bruh, well, where you been at, man?
Bro, you know the super team?
Nah, bro, I don't know nothing about no super team.
You know Vince White, the guy who did our logos and the cards and
Oh, you
stuff?
mean like these cards?
Yeah, those cards, man. He hired me to help out the super team because the villains in the Powerverse, they just became carbon copies of heroes and need my help, bro. They gonna set me straight. I'm telling you, man. I'm telling
Bro,
you.
that don't make sense to me, bro. You don't even like the whole superhero stuff in general, so I don't know what you talking about.
Yeah, I know, but he's gonna give me a bad to help him out, man. I'm gonna break you all too. I'm telling you, man. It's gonna
For
be
real,
dope.
bro?
Yeah, man. I'm gonna have his bio page and the cameo and the comment he got going on Indigo right now too.
Okay. Now it's starting to make sense. I'm starting to understand where you're coming from.
Yeah, man. I just gotta hold it down, help him out for the next like 16 more days, and I gonna get the bag. Plus, you know I'm gonna break you off, bro. I got you, man.
Okay. Now I'm starting to figure it out. Now I got Greg from Sheernova Comics coming today, and for the interview, they like helping people over there, and so it all kind of works out because you know you got to help some people, and I just gonna go do an interview, bro. I do a solo dolo anyway. The last couple times you ain't been around, so I handle it, bro.
Yeah, thanks, bro. Thanks, bro. You know I got you right, man. I got you
Yeah, whatever, bro, whatever.
for real, man.
All right, what's going on, y'all? Welcome back to the hood. This is another episode of Chilling on the Green Box with Specks, Thompson, and the View. And y'all know every time we do an interview, something happens, and this time the super team called him. He's had to go run and help them out. They had a little thing going on, and you know how he hates doing that. But hey, I know you've seen him, Greg.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Just every time, I'll get him to at least do one interview with me. I keep saying it, but every time it's something like clockwork, man. But how you doing, man? How you doing?
I'm okay.
You okay? You okay? Yeah,
Yeah.
I know you're just waking up, man. You got to get the gears rolling and whatnot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to get you to roll on this interview so everybody can know more about you and what you do. So on on this show, I typically do 4 different segments on the show. Just so people know more about you and who you are, and not just I got a Kickstarter out or I do this book, so people actually feel the need to support you because who you are versus I need money type of thing. But so my first phone's going haywire over here. My first segment is a series of icebreaker questions, but I call it breaking it down because you chill on the green box. Back in the old days, you just break stuff down with your friends and whatnot. So I'm trying to break you down, break your brain down, so people know what you're about and who are you.
Okay.
So my first question for you is: have you ever met anybody famous?
Yes. They were part of a band, so yes, they're famous.
Who was the person?
It was a whole band, but the most of the band didn't really. They were like super introverts.
Oh,
Yeah,
they
but
didn't want to talk, huh?
the singer wasn't introvert, so well, he probably is normally, but he wasn't when I was talking to him. I was at Warp Tour and I was talking to Motionless and White, and
Uh-huh.
that was like 2014. And I was talking about a song that they just put out. I was like, that song's like amazing. I'm like holding up the line of like people because like I was like getting an autograph or whatever. And I was with my cousin, and I'm just like holding up the entire line. That's like so many people, and I'm just like talking to Chris, the singer.
Hey, did you fan out?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what's up, man. Um, what do you highly recommend when you what do you highly recommend most when you meet people?
Uh,
Yeah, I know, man.
what would I highly recommend?
Could be advice, could be books, could be could be anything.
Just try to get a feel like how they are as a person,
Mhm.
and see if there's any like chemistry there at all, like so I can click with them about something.
Something, right? All right. The last one. What is something you learned the hard way last year?
Um, Buying a house.
Buying a house.
Got a house in July, and that was a process. I was like, wow. No. So yeah, people should really look into when they're getting a house, look into like all that stuff that they gotta do.
Yeah, I gotta go through that pretty soon myself. So yeah, I guess
That's funny.
hopefully it's not the hard way, but yeah, definitely gotta do that because with these kids and just just getting our own just paying rent for something and not going nowhere is not where's
That's
it.
why I stopped with apartments. I was like, yeah, I'm done like paying rent and it not doing anything.
Yeah, we got a house now, but we pay rent on it. But before we was in an apartment, and we just caught hell with the neighbors and the landlords. It was just so much stuff. Like it was just so much going on, and like my apartment would be like I don't know $800. Apartment in front of me would be like $900. The one upstairs would be $1,200. It's all the same stuff, but everybody paid different prices. So it was just crazy. It was a whole crazy ordeal with that. But yeah, man, that was breaking you down, man. Hope people got some insight. 3 different questions about you with 3 different areas about you. You answered, so they got a good feel. But now we're gonna go to your back issues. And of course, you're a comic, so you're familiar with back issues. So, like people who don't know, for back issues, if you want to know more about a character, if you want to know more about the Green Lantern, you go to his back issues, go to his origin story and stuff like that to find out more about him. So here, I'm gonna go into Greg's back issues, so y'all find out more about him. So, first question: where are you from, and what do you call your hood?
I'm from Schenectady, but I call it Scum-nectady. uh, I'm in like a village that's kind of like connected to it or whatever. So it's like a little small village. That's where my house is. But I'm actually from Schenectady. Like I was born there.
What's the big thing closest to that?
Albany, I guess.
Wow.
Like a lot of people I guess a lot of people kind of know like Schenectady exists, but it's always got like a bad reputation because it's high crime rate.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I ain't.
Yeah.
Well, as long as y'all haven't made first 48 yet, I guess y'all be straight. I know you talked about the famous person you met was a whole band. But what was your first encounter with music?
What was my first concert?
First time you was like, I really like this artist or this genre of music.
Oh wow, that was back in. So I wasn't really like that into music that much. Like in the '90s and stuff. Like when I was a kid, I liked Blink-182 and stuff because of the radio. But then I got more into music in middle school. So like 2005, 2006. I liked the band Census Fail, which was an emo band. And, like that. It was them and Story of the Year, and that's like
I remember Story of the Year. Yeah. I remember them.
And then they just grew from there, and now I like more like pop punk stuff, and yeah.
So what would be considered pop punk nowadays?
I don't know. I just like the music.
I get you. Okay. What was your first comic that you remember like grabbing or reading or remembering, or the comic related TV show that you encountered that you're like, man, I enjoy this stuff?
Spectacular Spider-Man, I think. Yeah, whatever the Spider-Man show was in like the 90s. That one, and then X-Men and all that, because I watched like Fox Kids when I was a kid. So yeah, that's probably like where it all started for that. And Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, just because that was like the thing I was like obsessed with when I was a kid. I played video games and all that.
So you said a Spectacular Spider-Man. You know what I mean? Like the one that was on Fox. You mean the one it was like a different kind of art style?
Yeah, it was like, it might be that. Might be. What's the other one? Well, I can't think of it. It was the Spider-Man cartoon from like the 90s.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems to me everybody says like either between that, the Batman, or the X-Men cartoon.
Yeah.
It seems to be the norm, So when in your life did you find out that you're a geek?
Yeah, I was more into like video games actually for a very long time until I sold my Xbox the first time, because I kept selling it, buying a new one and selling it. And then for a while I just didn't have a video game system, and then I kind of like just slightly grew out of gaming, and so I don't do it as much anymore because I'm either working, sleeping, or working on like my business or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm trying to like actually make time to actually play games again. So
I'm saying here like the PS3 era, I started like drift off. Like I think if I can think of a time frame, maybe 2011, 2012, I just didn't play games or didn't do anything. I didn't get a game system or even play games until like maybe late 2016, 2017 once again. Yeah. Then even now I try to play, but like you said, with work and kids, so it just it's hard. Like it just can't sit in front of the TV hours and hours anymore.
Yeah.
It can't do it. What games do you play?
Sometimes when I still play games, I play even though I beat it, Breath of the Wild. So Legend of Zelda is like amazing to me. I liked Halo 3 and 2. 1 was okay, I guess. The fourth one wasn't that great, and then the fifth one was just terrible, and then I think that just like completely stopped me from liking Halo.
Yeah, I stopped liking Halo. I went to college. They got a little what was the name? I guess a common area. I can't think of the name of it. Where everybody go to eat, play games, and play ping pong and stuff. And they was playing Halo. Like somehow they got the games to link up, so it was like 16 people playing one time. And I seen like people just like bouncing bullets. It was sniping bullets off the walls and still getting people around the corner. I was like, I didn't know this game is even just competitive, anything like this. Like, man, Halo's not me. I didn't know it was like that. Then I think the Halo Reach game came out with the other people, and I was like, oh man, this game just not for me anymore. But yeah, that's your back issues, man. That's into that segment. Now I'm finna go into your hotkeys. Hotkeys could be two different kind of terms. In the DJ world, music world, is button the DJ will place on his turntables to go to a certain point of a song, or a certain song during a certain time in the club to hype up the club, get things moving. Or in comic books, it'd be key issues that people want to grab, want to have, and whatnot. And so I'm gonna go on your hotkeys right now. So first one is, what is Seernova Comics?
It's independent comic book and entertainment company. The entertainment side is mostly not existent right now, but besides the comics, we want to develop that further later on with like movies and all that other stuff. Because everybody wants that like Netflix deal or something at some point, but we actually kind of want to do the stuff on our own if we can. So we have a whole platform of other creators from like around the world that have their comics on the platform that we have. We created the platform after finding out that it was pretty hard to market to people. And just to like make a comic book, it took a while and money and all that stuff. So me and my business partner Dylan, we were actually like, oh wow, we should just make a platform for other people and not just for us. So that's why we did that, and we're trying to grow that now.
So how long had y'all been doing it or had it around?
2017 we became like an LLC. 2018 the website went live, and that's kind of how I lost my one job. Because I was like a janitor at a school, and I had to work on like Saturdays, and I picked a Saturday for me and Dylan to like launch the website. And back then I was like, oh, this is gonna be big, like everybody's gonna find this. Like, no, that's not how that works. And so I was just sitting in like the break room area, like where the cleaners or whatever sit while you don't have anything to do. And there's like a basketball game or volleyball game or something going on. So I kind of just wanted to like not be around that. And like there's kids knocking on the door, like trying to like have me lower the basketball hoops in the Rockwall gym. And my boss was telling me not to do that. So I was just not answering the door. And then they found out like, you didn't leave the break room for like hours. And I was like, oh yeah, it's crazy. And then they tried to fire me over not doing work, even though I still did work after the fact. But so like for 5 hours I was like in there just like waiting for the sports stuff to be over with so I can just clean up after them. Because I guess they were complaining about like there was no toilet paper or whatever in the bathroom. I was like, huh, that sucks. I don't care.
So I mean, how many people have you helped so far with the company?
We have like 30, maybe close to 40 people on our platform. It's been kind of like stagnant lately because we're trying to focus on like actually becoming a publisher for other people, because there's like 5 or 6 people that have asked a lot. Can we publish through you? So I was like, oh, that's cool. So instead of just publishing our stuff, we want to actually like figure out how to do all that and like do it the right way, and distribution and all that stuff. So we're looking into all of that. We have a whole list of comic book stores that Dylan's like going through and trying to like email, and nobody has emailed us back yet, but we're gonna like start calling people.
Yeah, that's a good number though. 30 people. That's great. So yeah. So I mean, eventually they finally found you, right? What made you become a comic creator?
In 2014, I just started writing a story because I was bored. I wrote this story like about this story like multiple times. It's like a vlog and stuff on our website and elsewhere. Yeah, so 2014, I didn't like have a job at one point, and I was like really bored one night, and I just started like writing because I remember like for a while, like years before that, I just stopped writing because I was like, oh, that's not going to do anything for me. And there was a short story that I wrote back in middle school, and that was the first thing that I actually wrote that I actually found that I really liked writing. So 2014, I started writing a story, and it's what the Seer Chronicles, our flagship title, is called. And originally it was called Red Mask, which is completely different. And and it was just the first sentence was like a firefighter goes into this like research lab, and then like he dies, and I was like, why? So then I like just kept typing, and then I didn't go to sleep for most of like a day and a half because I was writing. And because I kept trying to go to sleep, and then I was having ideas like form, and I was like, oh my god, I could just use people from my real life as characters. So that turned into like a over 1,200 page story, and then I broke that up. And one of my brother's friends actually said, you could just make this into a comic book. I was like, oh yeah, that would be cool, I guess. So then I went on Craigslist instead of Facebook, because I didn't think Facebook groups really were a thing for indie comics or anything. So I went on Craigslist and I looked, because I didn't know what to look for. To look for like a graphic designer, and then that's how I actually found Dylan.
Oh.
And he's like, oh, I can't like draw, but I can like do graphic design. It's like, oh, that's cool. So like you make like a logo or something for me. And then that like spread made its way into like us forming a company and all that stuff. And then he was asking like some big questions when we finally met in 2016, I think. Because for like a year we were just texting back and forth. And then we like finally met, and then we were just like sitting in this apartment like talking for like hours about like what we wanted to do with the business and whatever. And he was more focused on just like doing the website, and then like I would just do everything on my own. I kind of do more of the stuff anyway, but because he's got like 700 businesses. Yeah. Yeah, so he was like, do you want to make comics and then have like Dark Horse or something like published them? I was like, no, I want to like do it myself. And then that's how it like blossomed into like what we're doing now.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. So what is your inspiration or your creative process when you're making your books?
Sometimes I just drive around. I don't really do that anymore because gas.
Yeah, expensive.
But I like used to just drive around and just see random people, and I could create a story in my head like pretty quickly of like, oh, that person I could like do something with that, and then
so you see someone on the street and you create a backstory for them.
Yeah, gonna do something with this guy, and they're just walking like they have no idea that I'm about to like just put them in the story.
That's cool. I never heard that one. That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah, or I'm just walking at work because I'm a security guard. I do literally nothing, and I'm just walking at work. And ideas are always forming because writer. And I'm like, oh, I can connect this to this and stuff like that. Like my artist for Seer Chronicles, a friend Hector, he was actually telling me back in December. He's like, there's like too many transitions in the third issue, and like of Seer Chronicles, and that might get a little confusing to people. And I was like, okay. He's like, so you should like take this one character out and make it like a one shot. And then I was like, yeah, I was actually thinking of like starting to make like short stories for a bunch of characters, because there's so many characters that are like within Seer Chronicles and all the other comics that we have. And he's like, oh, that'd be smart. So I like now I'm making like volumes of short stories for like every 6 issues or however it works.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I'm adding that to like my comics MCU type slate thing that we have.
So is that like a spin-off type thing, or like a more detailed version of the books?
More detailed. So like at some point, when the first, let's say, Seer Chronicles, the first 6 issues is one plot arc. When that comes out on Kickstarter or whatever, we're gonna include the short stories in the book of like all 6 issues. So like the whole trade, they're also gonna include like the short stories, and they're gonna be placed where they like fit. Because I have that all like mapped out on like a timeline. Like, oh, this person is fired from the job, and this is just a short story of like this writer at this newspaper that we have, and she's getting fired because she's trying to tell the truth, and her boss is like, no, like you're making a scene, and don't do that. So yeah, so there's stuff about her, and there's like just more in detail about like some of the mafia stuff that I just can't add in because there's just so much you could do in a comic, and I don't have $1 million. So
Okay. How is it building and managing your own business? You know, with all the stuff you got going on, how is it?
it's like a lot of research. Yeah, I didn't think about that like back in like when we first started, but then Dylan kind of like reads a lot, and he's like, okay, so like just start researching this, and he gives me like 3-4 different things to do. Because I used to go to his apartment like almost every day, and we're just like sitting there in like dead silence, or he has like music or stand-up comedy on in the background or something. Because he has like super ADHD, so if there's not something going on, he's gonna like just walk away and do something else. So he would be working on either his main like marketing business, or he would be working on Seernova stuff, and I would also be doing that, but I would be doing like one of the things that he wants to do on like our checklist of stuff that we have. Yeah, so we're going to be a business for like 6 years in like August, and usually like if your business doesn't make it 5 years, it kind of like fails, and we're still around. Well, we haven't like really done much like money wise. We haven't like made money really yet, because I'm putting money into like just making comics, and there's Kickstarters, but we're just making it enough money to ship the stuff out. But I worked our Kickstarters out how some other people do it. So the goal would actually pay to get the art done. So that way I don't have to use my paycheck anymore. So that's what I'm hoping to do.
Okay, sounds great. So, you know, at least y'all moving forward. At least they haven't failed yet. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of Kickstarters, you know, I have a couple projects that you have done on Kickstarters as well. Let's see, can I pull them up? The first one I got is Mittens. Yeah. What's the story behind this one?
So we did that last July, and I wrote actually a 3 plot. What's 3 plot? What? Like a 3. I can't even think of words right now. It's 3 stories as like one plot arc, and there's 3 issues. Wow, I can't even say words right now. The monster is like flowing. So my girlfriend, when she was like younger, she had a cat named Mittens, and like when the cat had a lot of like neighborhood friends of other cats, and the cat died, and it was like a mafia wedding. Like a bunch of cats just like showed up to her dad's house, like so many, I guess.
Wow.
Like yeah, it was like just flooded with cats, I guess, on like his deck or something. So I was like, oh, that's cool. So now I'm gonna like add a twist to that, and I put it in space, and he you know he doesn't die, but
Oh,
he like
spoiler,
works,
right?
yeah, but he works for like a mafia, like a cat mafia on planet Yarn, and that's where he's from, and so I added like a whole sci-fi element to it, and it was our most successful Kickstarter so far, and I didn't think it was going to be like that much big of a hit, but because it's kind of more like geared towards kids, and I never did anything like that before, and a lot of people liked it. So yeah, we have 2 more issues for the first plot arc coming out. The next one is this year, and then the third one will be the year after, and that would finish the plot arc. And then I have more stories to tell within that like Mittens verse, because there's other characters that I'm gonna focus on too, with like one shots and stuff. That also connects into our other comics, like our superhero comics and stuff. It all connects into the same universe, because we don't have like a multiverse kind of thing. We don't want like Spider-Man Noir and all that other stuff. We want like you got this one character, and then that's where they all exist in the same universe.
Okay. Yeah, it looks like cat stuff do pretty good on Kickstarter, and so
Yeah.
y'all had a cat stuff and space. I guess y'all definitely won with that.
Yeah.
The next one I got is the Chronicles of Horror. It just seems so easy when other people doing this screen sharing. It just quick, boom, boom, boom. So just a different tangent from the cats. I see.
Oh yeah. So Chronicles of Horror, stay tuned, is the second issue of that anthology series that we created. The first issue was my friend Matt Myers. It was like his brainchild or whatever, and he's like, I want to make like a indie horror anthology that's like, he just wanted to make one, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. So he's like, can you help me find like people, because you have a platform of people. So I asked, and there's 3 other people that made stories, but they did the art. Matt wrote all 4 stories, and then the second issue, I actually became way more involved, and that's why there's like a beginning and a ending of in the second issue. And me and J.R. Harris, that's the artist on Mittens, he helped me figure out how the trade is going to work. So there's one more story, and we were going to actually do the third one this year, but because of money and just time, there's no time to do that this year.
Mm-hmm.
So there are writers, and there's more writers and stories that already did their part for the most part for the third one, but we're going to just be coming out with a trade because it's a lot of pages.
Oh, man.
And then it's also going to have issue 1 and 2, and issue 1 is going to connect into the second and third one, because originally the first one wouldn't like really work, but when we're going to change the order around, and it completely works when we change the order around in the first one. So yeah.
So is this an anthology, or is it stories in a certain universe?
It's just an anthology, and it for some reason takes place in Ohio, because
Everything happens in Ohio, apparently. Oh, it's probably maybe it's a precursor to the big old cloud and disappeared.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's just about this gravedigger dude, and he's watching these like this show that he likes, but it's on tape because 90s, and the first issue was not like really for that. It wasn't for that. It wasn't really about like a show that he's watching, but we made it when we put it into the trade. That's how it's going to look. So that kind of like added my theme to it.
Okay. Yeah, last one you done sent to me, I guess, is another anthology project.
Maybe
The Sheer Chronicles Family Matters.
oh, that's yeah, our flagship title, Seer Chronicles. Family Matters is the second issue in that. It also came with the first issue. The first issue, it took a while to get remade because we were going to have the artist that did the second issue do the first issue.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't able to do it because he was working on other projects and just, life and all that other stuff. So, yeah, we we're using that Kickstarter to try to fund so we could make the remaster version of issue 1 because we redid that story like twice. The first time it was like nobody will ever see the art because it was like so bad.
Mm-hmm.
And then the second version, the artist kind of like tried to do stuff his way without like even asking me if it was okay. Like he added like our logo on a bus stop, and I'm like, there's no reason to do that because like that makes it like meta. And then why? And then he put like a Ed Sheeran poster on a wall, and I'm like, I don't even like that dude, and I don't like that music, and he's just I'm like, okay. Like, take the poster out. He's like, yeah, but it's funny, and I'm like, that was a waste of time for you because now you gotta remove that. So yeah, after that we kind of like parted ways with that artist, and then we got Luke Anderson, which is part of our platform, and he redid the first issue after we figured all that out. And his art style was different from this, but then we got Hector finally, and that's actually like the artist we wanted originally. We wanted Hector to do this series, and we finally got him. So he's going to be the artist going forward for this. So we can stop having a different artist every issue.
Yeah.
And the Seer Chronicles takes place in Seer City, which is based off of Schenectady in a sense. So it's Schenectady mixed with like New York City, but it's just like it's got the same streets, but I add like different buildings, like the tall building that was in the picture above, like where you were scrolling. That building doesn't actually exist in real life.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just like that's a important building in the story, but it's not.
Kind of like the Baxter building, like Marvel Comics, right?
Yeah. It was like we just added like certain things from DC and Marvel and made it our own.
Okay. It looks dope, and I saw at the top you had something about ink up there, and you getting ready to do a Kickstarter for that soon, aren't you?
Yep. March 6th. I think I had the time somewhere. I think on like Instagram I put like a reminder, and I think it's like 3 p.m. because I think that's when I'm gonna like wake up and launch it. Because I used to like launch them in the morning, and then I wouldn't be able to sleep because I would just be too focused on like the Kickstarter. And I'm like, oh, another backer. And I was like, oh, okay, I can't sleep. And I work overnights, so that's not happening. So yeah, I'm probably gonna launch it in the afternoon, like after I wake up. But yeah, so that goes from March 6th until April 6th or 5th. And Ink is actually the first comic that we put out back in 2019. And the first issue was still done by Adam Fields, who's the artist on the second one. But the art style definitely improved over a couple of years. Like he was still good back then, but it got even better. And he's like super happy with it. I'm super happy with it. Dylan,
That's good. At least it went up, not down, right?
yeah, and it's got the coolest art that we have in anything so far, and we made that an art print on the Kickstarter because it came out exactly how I wanted it to come out, and I was like, this is that. And then there's another scene that is on the trading card, which is a stretch goal. I spread out the stretch goals on this Kickstarter because in Mittens we were just releasing things like we had so many like just stretch goals and backer goals and stuff that it was like just insane to keep track of. And just money wise, like if we didn't have so many stretch goals, we would have I would have more money left over to pay for other stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, so I'm gonna like tone it down. And when I get a Kickstarter like comic in the mail, when I back something, sometimes I back it at like $40 or whatever, and I'm like, oh, so I'm gonna get some other thing, not just the comic. Sometimes it's just a comic, and I was like, oh, okay, I thought I was gonna get like a trading card or something, but
yeah, at least something, right?
so I was like, oh, okay. So I'm like, wow, I'm like way too nice on Kickstarter. I'm giving people like so many things, and I'm not getting that much stuff from ones that I back. So I'm like, oh, okay. So I'll tone it down, and then I'll make it, more like realistic. So people should probably do that too.
Yeah.
And yeah, because Mittens we had like trading cards and like 3 stickers that we just like gave away. One was a stretch goal. Or 2, and there's an art print that was on a certain tier. We had way too many shirts that we gave out. We didn't give out, but like enough people like bought a reward tier, and then we made another reward tier, and we didn't realize how many shirts we actually like sold because I usually limit it to 10.
Mm-hmm.
And then Josh is like, "Oh crap, it was like 16 shirts." I was like, "Oh, we didn't figure that out before." Whoops. And it's drop shipped, so it's not like it was just sitting in my house or anything. But yeah, just like sending all those out and like figuring all that out was like really annoying. So yeah, I'm toning it down on this Kickstarter, and I'm hoping that just makes it better.
Yeah, I had to do the same thing. I'm getting ready to do the same thing on my Kickstarter. I feel like I was doing too much. Apparently, I was aiming too low for my prices, so and giving too much. So I got to change that up as well. So I understand where you coming from with that.
Yeah,
definitely. So that was into that. That was your hotkeys. Now we do the last part of the show. It's gonna be digging in the crates. Just like the last segment, it could mean 2 different things. Music wise, digging the crates, you go back to old songs and old records. You pull out the classics or the ones that really meant stuff to people, as well as in comic books, you go back and find old issues, with certain things or certain misprints or stuff like you really want. You want to showcase that. So with these questions, it's gonna be stuff like if you want a Nobel Prize or something significant change what happened, how you get viewed at from these answers. So my first question to you is, if you could have been a writer to one of these award-winning books that became movies or TV series or stuff like that, or even games, some stuff is becoming games now. What story would it have been, and how would you have changed it, and how would it have changed your life if you would have wrote it?
Yeah. Kind of wish I was just a kid though. Kind of wish I wrote Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, like created it. I wouldn't change anything because it's great the way it is. I liked all the games that I played, so Super Nintendo and all that stuff. All the movies that I watched for that, even the 90s ones, except for the third one. Like the third one I would have changed. But I like the first 2. Actually, the second one is the one that I like a little more than the first one. And I would even keep Vanilla Ice in there with the Go Ninja.
It's a classic.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think I would really change much except for the third movie of that, just because it was not how it should have been, I don't think. Yeah. I was going to say The Last of Us, but I never played the game, and I've only watched a show, and it's a really good show. I would like to play the game, but I never did. Back in high school, I did write a video game that like I wanted to create with my friend, and that's all we were doing at lunch was like writing that. So after that, I took like a break from like writing, and then 2014 came, and then I did that. What I told you earlier, but yeah. So it would be Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but I would only change the third movie. I like everything else. And I really want The Last Ronin. Like, just that series looks awesome. And
I've been collecting those. Yeah. All right, that's dope. Next question. You do a podcast yourself. Let's say it's, I don't know, 80 years from now, and they're already in your podcast or whatever. And what guest would you like to have interviewed on your podcast that they'll play that reel back and say this is one of the top episodes or guests you had in your show? What guest would that be and why?
Kevin Eastman, because Ninja Turtles. And then there's like just we're trying to get more people that so far our guests that we've had are just literally like our level of indies or like a little above. Like there's Travis Gibb and stuff that's a little higher.
Yeah,
he's done more.
Especially now.
Yeah. But yeah, so I would like we're trying to get like a little like bigger names like Doug Wagner, stuff like that. His stories look pretty cool. I haven't read any of them, but like just the idea of them, because Aaron Dowan from Catalyst Comics told me, and I've just heard on his podcast, Beards and Comics, that like when they have him on, they like just talk about the little plot of like vinyl and stuff, and I'm like, that sounds amazing. So yeah, I would definitely like want to talk with him and Tim Seeley. There's a bunch of people that we definitely would want on our podcast. So yeah, we have a whole list of people that we actually are trying to connect with. So
Okay. Hey, I guess more that long running plan, the bigger brand, Yeah. That's great, man. That's great. Well, I mean, hey, that's the end of the show. Hopefully people enjoyed it. They learned more about you and more about your company and your products you put out. And maybe somebody here heard what you do and want help from y'all, But they did need help. Where can they find you and then find some of your products?
SeernovaComics.com. It's SEER NovaComics.com. It's the same for all of our social media, like Instagram, even though Instagram's turned into just a non-engagement platform. Twitter, I'm not really on there that much, but we're on there. Pinterest is somehow big. So yeah, we're on Pinterest and a bunch of other stuff like that.
All right, that's what's up, man. That's what's up. Well, thanks for coming on. I mean, this has been another episode of Chill on the Green Box with Specks, Thompson, and The View. If I can ever get him to stay, for a whole episode, it'd be great. But one day I'll get him. But thanks for coming on, man. Appreciate it. And we're out.